All right, it's 5 minutes with KeRusso. Let's see if we can dig into these 5 minutes. I've shared with you some first questions from the book of Genesis, the first 11 chapters, that reveal something about the character of those who ask the questions. In Genesis chapter 3, you have the first question that the devil asked. And you also have the first question that God asked. I want to share with you the very first question that a person asked. That's what we'll do today. You'll find this question in Genesis chapter 4. Now, let me kind of give you a brief summary to lead us into that. The first man and woman have been kicked out of the garden. Adam and Eve don't live there anymore. They've started their family now, wherever they happen to live at. And they've got two boys. The oldest is Abel, the youngest is Cain. These boys grow up, they're offering sacrifices to God, so they have a relationship with God. But God's not pleased with the youngest boy's sacrifice. He loves Abel's because I think Abel's given him his best. I think Cain's given him scraps, and God's not happy with that. And so he talks to Cain about that. Now, Cain, instead of changing what he's given to God, he just decides he's going to get angry with Abel. And God says, you better watch out, Cain, because that's sin, and it's going to try to master you, and you need to get a hold of this, or something bad's going to happen. Now, Cain doesn't listen, and he ends up murdering his brother. And that brings us to this first question that a person asks. In Genesis chapter 4 and verse 9, God confronts Cain, and he asks him, says, where is your brother Abel? And Cain lies. He says, I don't know. And then Cain asks the question. He says, am I my brother's keeper? Now, that question reveals something about Cain's character, but it also reveals something about humanity's character. Because ever since Cain, we've been trying to wash our hands of responsibility for people we don't like. I am not my brother's keeper or my sister's keeper. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? Well, we want the answer to be no. And so whatever happens to them, happens to them. It's not our fault. I am not responsible for them. You know, when I was in 5th grade, there was a girl in our class I did not like. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why. I don't know. I just didn't like her. And because I didn't like her, she didn't like me. And so we spent the whole year just being mean to each other, saying mean things to each other, whatever 5th graders might say to each other. And we were just as rude as could be to one another. And finally one day I said, you know, this is stupid. And we decided to patch things up. We talked about it. We said, okay, we're going to be friends. That lasted about 3 days. Then we went back to not liking each other. Why? I don't know. I want to chalk it up to the fact that I was a 5th grader. But the truth is, it doesn't matter whether you're in 5th grade or whether you're 50 years old or whether you're 100 years old or what age. People find all kinds of reasons to not like somebody else. We'll throw up fences and barriers, and we'll decide not to like somebody because they're taller than us. Or I didn't like the way they looked at me yesterday, or I didn't like the tone of their voice, or they have a nicer car, or they have it easier than me, or they have this, or they have that, or their skin color is different, or their gender is different, or their nationality is different, or they're part of this group or that group, or whatever it is we don't want to like, and we wash our hands of them. And if bad things happen to them, we're all right with that. It's not my fault. I am not my brother or sister's keeper. We didn't learn very well. But Jesus tried to teach people a different way. And he talked to people, Jewish people. He said, you know, you go into your churches, your synagogues, you listen to your rabbis, you listen to your preachers, and they're telling you it's all right to love your neighbors and hate your enemies. Well, where did these preachers get that idea? They didn't get it from God. But they came up with this idea. It's okay to hate your enemies. And Jesus said, you know, that's wrong. You need to learn to love the people that are hard to love. You need to be able to say hello to people who don't want to say hello to you. You need to be good to people, and you need to help people, even if you don't like them. One of Jesus' disciples would get a hold of that and understand it. Later on, he would write to some people, and he said, you know, you want to talk about love, it's okay to love God, but you don't have to love the person sitting next to you, so you can't do both. You have to love God and you have to love people, but you can't love God and not love that person sitting next to you. Because they're made in the image of God. The point is, as you read through the Bible, we are our brothers and sisters' keeper. And we need to learn that lesson so that we don't repeat the mistakes of people like Cain. And our nation sure needs to learn this lesson right now because a lot of people have lost this. We are our brothers and sisters' keeper, no matter why they're different than us, no matter why we don't like them. So go out and be somebody's keeper today and look out for somebody that you don't like. Learn your lesson. All right? Leave a message if you want to, or send me an email at booksbykerusso@gmail.com. God bless you.